You're about to hear Christianity Before Christ by John G. Jackson, narrated by Joseph Kent. Copyright 2018 ABN Publishing. Chapter 1. The Creation of the World and of Man. Archbishop James Ussher in 1630 announced that the world was created by God in the year 4004 BC. Annals of the Ancient New Testament, London, 1650, cited by Andrew Dixon White. A History of the Warfare of Science with Theology and Christendom, Volume 1, New York, D. Appleton & Co., 1896, page 9. This date has been accepted by large numbers of Orthodox Christians. A more precise estimate of the age of the Earth was made by Dr. John Lightfoot, 1602 to 1675, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cambridge, who declared that heaven and earth, center and circumference, were all created together in the same instant. This work took place and man was created by the Trinity on October 23, 4004 BC at 9 o'clock in the morning. White, History, Volume 1, page 256. This estimate was widely accepted for about 200 years. Then grave doubts were cast upon it by discoveries made in the Nile Valley and in Western Asia. As a great American historian noted, within 2 centuries after Lightfoot's great biblical demonstration to the exact hour of creation, it was discovered that at that hour an exceedingly cultivated people, enjoying all the fruits of a highly developed civilization, had long been swarming in the great cities of Egypt, and that other nations hardly less advanced had at that time reached a high development in Asia. White, History, Volume 1, pages 9 and 10. During the Middle Ages, the Christian God was anthropomorphic. As Professor White observed, among those masses of cathedral sculpture which preserve so much of medieval theology, one frequently recurring group is noteworthy for its presentment of a time-honored doctrine regarding the origin of the universe. The Almighty, in human form, sits benignly, making the sun, moon, and stars, and hanging them from the solid firmament which supports the heaven above and overarches the earth beneath. The furrows of thought on the Creator's brow show that in this work he is obliged to contrive. The knotted muscles upon his arms show that he is obliged to toil. Naturally, they, the sculptors and painters of the medieval and early modern period, frequently represented him as the writers whose conceptions they embodied had done. As, on the 7th day, weary after thought and toil, enjoying well-earned repose, and the plaudits of the hosts of heaven. White, History, page 1. There are 2 stories of the creation of man in Genesis, one in chapter 1 and the other in chapter 2. These 2 accounts flatly contradict each other, and this has created a problem for the true believers. We learn from the first 3 verses of Genesis chapter 1 that after God created the heavens and the earth, he gave the command, "Let there be light," and there was light. Then the light was called day and the darkness night. This completed the first day's work. The second day's work was the creation of the firmament. In the 3rd day, God brought forth the dry land, which he called the earth, and the waters called the seas. Then the earth was made to produce grass, trees, etc. Thus ended the 3rd day of creation. Next, the sun and moon were created and set in the firmament by God. This ended the 4th day. On the next day, God created great whales and other water animals and also winged fowl. This concluded the work of the 5th day. The 6th day completed the work of creation. God made all sorts of beasts, cattle, creeping things, and finally man, whom he created male and female in his own image. On the 7th day, God rested from his labors, and the day was blessed and sanctified as the Sabbath. In this first narrative, God is said to have created the lower animals first, and then later on, human beings, both male and female. In the second account, we are told that God created man first, the lower animals next, and last of all, woman, who was made from a rib extracted from man. In the first story, the Creator begins with fishes, then produces in turn birds and beasts, and finally man and woman. In the second tale, man comes first, and God then makes the lower animals, and finally woman. The most notable points of difference between the 2 cosmogonies are: 1. In the first, the earth emerged from the waters, and was hence saturated with moisture. In the second, the whole face of the ground required moistening. 2. In the first, the birds and beasts were created before man. In the second, man was created before the birds and the beasts. 3. In the first, all flying fowl were
Sample complete. Ready to continue?